It's the time of year again when heating bills are biting, and close to 20% of Irish households struggle. They're experiencing what's called fuel poverty. But to think, today, thousands, often elderly people, had to make the choice whether to feed themselves or heat themselves is shocking and, in my view, unacceptable. After all the talking, we're now even more dependent on oil, coal and gas. We now import more than 90% of our heating fuels, compared to 85% 10 years ago.
And that means that our bills are controlled by companies that have been shown to make record profits.
But lately, wood pellet is taking off, and firewood seems to be available everywhere.
Wood is a renewable resource and a carbon-neutral fuel. It's an important ally in reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. To find out what contribution Irish forests could make to our energy demand for heating, I met Tom Kent at the Farm Fest in Athenry last summer.
So what's the potential of wood energy in Ireland?
With the wood energy resource we have at the moment, we can immediately displace about 20% of our oil needs for heating. Obviously that figure can grow in the future as our forest resource is continuously growing. There's a significant gap between the price of wood and the price of oil. Anybody that is using oil should increasingly look at wood as an alternative. Households in the countryside, you don't have to go very far to find either firewood or wood chip. There's local supply chains setting up, ready to feed local markets.
So what about householders in urban areas?
There's still good options there available. Feature stoves are becoming part and parcel of the modern house, and they're beautiful. Pellets is another option that I think are very good for the urban household. It's the nearest thing to oil in terms of the convenience of it.
Tom, can you tell us about the research that Cofort are doing with Waterford Institute of Technology?
Sure, Duncan. We're really looking at the most cost-effective ways of getting wood energy to market. The resource we're focusing on is that farm forestry that's been planted over the last 25 years and now is coming ready for thinning. So really our research is focused on the entire supply chain, from the forest right through to producing a high-quality, consistent wood fuel that's available to market.
If wood energy has got your interest, an exhibition like the Farm Fest is a good place to start. There are all the different types of wood fuels and their heating systems on display. Wood chip is generally used for larger energy consumers like schools and hotels. At Dromolan Castle Hotel near Shannon, they've installed a wood chip burner to heat the 100 bedrooms, their hot water, their spa and the pool. Their green team reckon that this reduces their energy bill by €70,000 and their CO2 emissions by 1,000 tonnes per year. Then there are boilers and stoves that run on wood pellets. And since we now have a large pellet producer, Deep Pellet, in Kilkenny, the future of this wood fuel seems secure. This is what they're talking about, a firewood gasification boiler. They're very efficient, more than 90%, and the logs produce hardly any ash. But what if you want to retrofit and live in an urban setting, or still have an open fire, or don't want to invest in a new boiler? What are the options? I'm off to Kinvara, where the Murphys have been selling wood stoves of all shapes and sizes for the last 40 years.
For example, young people. There's a lot of people in Ireland now living in houses that are very difficult for them, costly for them to heat. What do those people do?
But keep it simple is the first thing I'd say. If you can get a small stove to fit in your house, it does cut down your oil bill or your gas bill considerably.
And you go down to very simple stoves too,
Simple, small stove, 5 kilowatt stoves that will heat rooms 20 foot by 20 foot. Stoves are very airtight. They're a sealed combustion unit, so they're much more efficient than an open fire.
How efficient?
Well, anything up to 85% efficient.
That compares with only 15% efficiency for an open fire, which means that for every €10 of fuel, €1.50 heats you and €8.50 disappears up the chimney. The same €10 of fuel would give you 5 times this heat when used in a high-efficiency wood stove.
This type of one here now, for example.
Yeah, that's an S33 Nestor Martin stove, all cast iron. Has a boiler option and has a remote control. That'll burn up for 18 hours.
So what sort of fuel can you use?
Multi-fuel, but in particular with wood, and heat logs are the new fuel.
Heat logs. What are heat logs?
Heat logs are compressed offcuts of wood and compressed sawdust.
Shane, what about price?
On average, from €400 upwards to €1,000 would give you a non-boiler stove.
And if you want to have, say, a boiler on that, you know...
You're adding €200 or €300.
About that onto the cost?
On average, yeah.
Is there much involved in installing it?
Very simple. I mean, it doesn't take much, half a day, not even that half a day, a couple of hours.
County Clare seems to have really embraced wood energy and is developing a wood culture. I met Mary Ryan at Clare Wood Chip near Flagmount.
Mary, can you tell us about the Clare Wood Energy Project?
The Clare Wood Energy Project started in 2004, where Teagasc and the Clare Leader Company came together because we had a big thinning resource, but we were a long way from very big markets, and that one of the things that should be looked at is the wood energy market, because it's a local market. And we took on 2 consultants, one to encourage heat users to put in wood chip boilers, and the other side then we took on a forestry consultant to go out and to organise the farmers into groups to get them thinning and to get their timber onto the market. When we started in 2004, there was nobody using wood energy in the county for wood chip. The project has grown a lot. We have a number of hotels, business premises, nursing homes. We have a number of wood heating entrepreneurs, such as Pat Maloney here in Flagmount, who actually buys in timber from farmers, stacks it, chips it and delivers it into the wood chip boilers. We have to start weaning ourselves off oil and developing the market and the resource that we have ourselves. It's a case of getting that resource from the forests into fireplaces and into boilers. Ultimately, the farmer benefits in that they get to thin their crop and to utilise the resource. The people who are actually using the wood chip are gaining hugely from a financial perspective. The environment is gaining in that we're using less fossil fuels. So in all, everybody's a winner in this story.